What are the chances of Chelsea Football Club, the men's team and the women's team being robbed on the same day? Well, in 2024, the chances are quite high, and that's exactly what has happened today, on Saturday at the time of making this video. The women's team lost against Barcelona in the Champions League. Chelsea-Barcelona Champions League, controversial referee. We know that all too well. Then Chelsea play against Aston Villa, which is the game we're going to analyze today. We were losing 2-0 at halftime. Second half, incredible performance, great tweaks by Pochettino, great performance by the players as well. 2-2, and then last 2 minutes of the game, we score 3-2. VAR check says that it was a foul before Disarray scored, and so the goal was cancelled. The Aston Villa player did not even complain about a foul. So what? The Aston Villa player doesn't complain, which means that he doesn't feel like he's been fouled. And yet VAR checks, says to the ref, go to the screen, check for yourself if it's a foul or not. How ridiculous has football become? In Sweden, I believe they have cancelled VAR. If we want to continue with VAR, either we tweak it somehow, right? The clear and obvious foul or clear and obvious offside or not, which again, this clear and obvious thing, barely seen it. So, okay. Or we do it like in the NFL. If the ref spots a foul, you have to explain it live to the whole stadium live. Why is that such a big deal? Are they afraid? Are they so incompetent? I don't know. I mean, if we really want to continue with VAR, you have to gain our trust. And to gain our trust, you better have a good explanation the moment you make that decision. It is not normal that people miles and miles away from the actual game are behind screens making the decisions, and nobody knows what the explanation is until they release the footage. It just doesn't make any sense. The referee on the pitch has to explain to the thousands of people in the stadium, plus the players, the managers, why it was a foul, why it was a penalty, why it was offside, why it's not a goal, or why it is a goal. It's really that simple. What do you think? Let me know down in the comment section below. By the way, thank you all for all the recent support. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. Would really appreciate that. Let's try and reach 1,000 subscribers as soon as possible. And if you don't like it anymore, you can always unsubscribe. It's free. So let's jump into the analysis into the game, which started off very, very badly with an own goal by Cucurella. But again, the lead to the own goal, in my opinion, I'm not putting the whole fault or whole mistake on Madueke, but it's again Madueke not making those runs, not tracking back. I mean, jogging, why are you jogging? We just started the game. Are you tired? Are you still sleeping? What is it? I just don't get it. Then the second goal, it's another, I mean, we've seen these types of games countless times throughout this season. Because if you look at our performance in the first half, if you look at the stats for the first half, it's pretty clear that we were the dominant side. We have double the touches. On the heat map, we are way more threatening than Aston Villa. We're actually dominating the game. If you look at the amount of touches, where those touches happened, again, it makes no sense that we were losing 2-0 at halftime. We also had more shots, more passes. I mean, it was a weak half overall because, again, we are just having the ball but doing nothing with it, which has been also a theme throughout this season. Then if we look at the second half, what has been added? Well, we were way more threatening, right? In the first half, if we go back here, we didn't really threaten that much on the right side of the pitch plus the center. Then at the end of the game, I mean, we noticed, okay, let's use these white areas as well. Plus we were extremely dominant in the middle of the park, but especially more advanced regions. As for Aston Villa, nothing much has changed. We were dominating. They had to defend a lot. Yes, sometimes they were on a break or so, but really we were by far the better team overall in the 90 minutes. And again, if we look at the passes, in my opinion, it's fine. You can have a lot of passes, you can have lots of possession, you can have lots of touches, etc., etc. But okay, do something with it, right? Yes, we had 22 shots, they only had 9 shots. That's great. We were being more and more forward in the second half, but we should have done more. I mean, in my opinion, we won the game, we were just robbed, but we should not have let the referee or VAR dictate whether or not we won the game. We should have done more throughout the 90 minutes. It's been like this again. Throughout this season, we dominate possession against most teams, but we just walk around, we pass here, we pass there, and I say something extra, which usually I defend him, and for good reason, and that's Conor Gallagher. Great player for our team, in my opinion. If we sell him, it's just for pure profit and not because he's a bad player. But Conor Gallagher, if you analyze his game, great player for the team, right? He runs a lot, he recovers a lot, he puts a lot of effort to help his teammates. But in my opinion, he has to improve on the one-touch movement. You get the ball, you touch it once, and you pass it forward. You do not have to touch the ball 3-4 times, look left, right, back, front, and then pass it again. No, one-touch football, and I think we are going to go forward and advance, and he's going to improve as a player as well. I've seen this happen today too many times, where he gets the ball, and instead of directly one touch and you pass it forward to a player that's already free on the left or on the right, doesn't matter, we would have had more chances. That's just my opinion, of course. I'm not blaming him at all, but I think that's one area where he can improve. By the way, exceptional goal from Gallagher, even with his left foot. Then going back to the first own goal, of course, I mean, the cross here passes 1, 2, 3 of our defenders and then touches the last defender and goes in. Okay, fine. But look at Madueke. Look at Madueke here. Madueke should have been tracking, but no, now he's walking. Now you're going to say, yeah, but look at Palmer. He's also walking. Yeah, but Palmer was already far away from the ball, far away from the player receiving the ball. So he was not really in play here. Madueke, again, should have done better. Moving on to who should have done better as well is Nicholas Jackson. This should have been 1-1, by the way. This should have been 1-1, and in my opinion would have changed the game because, again, we were the dominant team. This is an easy header. Of course, he scored, but he was offside, which, again, just shows you he can score great goals, but easy ones he does not want to. So, okay. Then last thing, the clear and obvious. This is a clear and obvious foul, apparently. And this here on the right is not a clear and obvious handball penalty. Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's clear and obvious that Chelsea are getting robbed again, and again. And so, to conclude, a draw does not help us at all, even though we had a game in hand. I mean, a win would have put us now in 8th place above West Ham and 3 points from Newcastle. My opinion, our best bet for the end of the season is maybe Conference League. If somehow Newcastle slips up and we somehow manage to win the remaining of our games, which should start with the next one, which is Spurs. I think Conference is maybe the goal. If we can get Europa League, that would be great. But yeah, let's try and end this season on a strong note. Overall, I mean, the performances, despite the horrible loss against Arsenal, the performances in the last month or two, maybe even 3, over 90 minutes, were not that bad. If you look at how many games we actually lost in 90 minutes, I think it was 2 or maybe 1. So with all the injuries, with all the inexperience, I mean, we aren't performing that bad. We are not performing great for the whole season, right? Chelsea should not have been in this situation. But then again, if you recruit broken players, if you recruit inexperienced players, yeah, usually this is what happens, plus all the injuries. I mean, we've talked about that in the preview video. All the injuries is just being extremely unlucky. I don't think it's on Pochettino because plenty of other players, plenty of other teams are getting injured left, right, and center as well. So there's definitely something going on in the football world. Overall, it was a disappointing end to a great evening, in my opinion. Disappointing end to a day. Chelsea women's team losing in the Champions League. And we didn't lose, but it feels like a loss. We should have had all the 3 points. But okay, onwards we go. Let's try and win the game against Spurs. Would probably lift our morale quite a lot. And then let's try and end the season quite strongly. Of course, Do share your thoughts down in the comment section below. And again, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button, like the video, it would really help me out a lot. And I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.